Welcome you all in the 12th lecture of embedded system. So in the last lecture we have started a different discussion on different analog to digital converters and digital to analog converters, and we have seen that we need digital to analog converters for the actuation, right? So we have studied about two types of DAC, that is weighted DAC, the weighted resistor type DAC, and another was registered R2R ladder type DAC, right? And we have seen that design of R2R ladder type of DAC is much easier as compared to weighted resistor type DAC. Also, in the last class we have seen that in the process of designing analog to digital converters, we have seen different types of analog to digital converters, such as flash type, successive approximation type, counting type, and dual slope type, right? So in the last lecture we have seen only one type of DAC in detail, that is flash type DAC, which is flash type ADC, which is fastest, okay, which is fastest among all ADC, right? But what was the drawback? The drawback was, for a high bit ADC we need a complex hardware which is difficult to design. So for a higher bit application, flash type ADC is not suitable, right? So now we will continuing the discussion. Today we will be talking about next type of ADC, that is counting type ADC. So what is actually counting type ADC, right? So in this type of ADC, it explicitly uses the D2A converters, right? So since we can easily design D2A converters of any required bit, okay, so we will be explicitly using this D2A converter block, and there will be a counter, okay, there will be counter which will be just counting the input clocks, right? So when it will count when the input is available, right? So it is enabled through a AND gate which takes the clock, okay, when the clock is 1 and the input is also 1, right? So if both are 1, then only the counter will count, otherwise it will not count. And this input is given through an op amp, right? So this will be your analog input, okay. So let me write, this is your analog input V in, and this will be connected in a feedback to this digital to analog, okay, sorry, this is opposite. So output is coming from a digital to analog converter, and it is feeding to the op amp, right? So what op amp does? Op amp compares the input voltage and the output of D2A converters. If V in is higher than this one, then output is 1, otherwise the output will be 0. So what it will be doing essentially, so this is your digital to analog converter, so we need some digital inputs, right? So this is nothing but your decimal equivalent, that is D, right? So how does it work actually? Why we are calling it as counting type ADC? So what it does actually, it counts basically. How does it count? So let's say that this is your analog input, okay. So if analog input is, let's suppose it is at certain level, okay. So initially the clock is counting, so initially it will start from 1, okay. So 1 means it is, in this case V in is very large, okay, V in is very large, so output will be 1, again it has to count, right? So it will be counting till it will reach to the reference input, right? So it has reached now. In this case it has reached to the analog input. Now what will happen? The output of comparator will be 0. 0 means it is stopped, right? The output is 0, so it will not count. It will not count further. It will not count further, and you can get that output, right? So again what will happen? It will come back again to 0. Not 0. It will be following that one, right? So here what is happening? Here the counter stops. Okay, so whatever the value is there, that will be your digital. Digitally we can get it, right? So what is the value that can be taken as digital output, right? Is that clear to you? So when we use this type of D2A, right? So in this case, what is the needed component? So that is, we need one D2A, we need one counter, and we need one comparator. Okay. So before starting, the counter is initialized to 0. Okay. Counter is initialized to 0, right? So how does it work? If I write the number of sequence of steps, so first the counter is initialized to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? Whatever the value is, that will be reset, or basically I should write counter is reset. Then the counter output is fed to the input of DAC, right? And then DAC output is going to where? DAC output is going to the op amp, right? Where it is compared with input voltage. So if your input voltage is greater than your VDAC, then the output will be 1, else the output will be 0. This we have seen, right? Now if you see this case, it has to reach to this level, and it takes some time, right? So if your input voltage is at much higher level, what is the worst execution time or worst conversion time? Okay, if I draw the worst case, if I write the worst case conversion time, what is the worst case conversion time? Okay, so it takes too much time actually. Okay, if your input is at the 2 to the power n, maximum it can reach up to how many levels? It can reach up to 2 to the power n, right? If your n bit ADC, it can reach up to 2 to the power n levels, right? So 2 to the power n level means that is the worst case conversion time. Okay. So if you are going for a higher and higher type of ADC, it takes too much time to convert. So this is very slow. So worst case conversion time is very slow. Now we will start a new topic, and that is sensors and actuators, right? So in the embedded system we need different types of sensors and actuators. So some of the sensors and actuators we will study in this course. So first sensors we will take as LED, that is light emitting diode. Okay. So what is a light emitting diode actually? Light emitting diode. Okay, so if I see the light emitting diode looks like this. Okay, so it has basically 10 number of pins, and if you see the connections, there are 8 lines in the form of an digit 8, right? So where 7 are the A to G, and there is a dot, right? So these are the connections, okay, and these red lines are basically the common terminal, right? So it is a display device which is used to display. This is a display device which is used to display alphanumeric characters. So alphanumeric means, so you can show either 0 to 9 or basically hexadecimal number, any hexadecimal number, right? Suppose you want to show 0, so 0 you can show in this way. So in this you have to glow all these lines except the G line, right? So we will see how to connect in a real time, right? So there are basically two types of LED. One is common anode, and another is and another type is common cathode. So what is the difference between common anode type of connections and common cathode type of connections? So let me draw in forms of a diode, right? So each line is having one diode. Okay, so there are 8 number of diode basically, right, from A to G and the dot. So I can draw the 8 number of diode in this way, right? So if the positive terminal of diode is connected to common terminal or ground, that kind of configuration can be called as common anode. If the anode is common, then we call it as common anode, and this is the other side is nothing but these lines like A, B, C, D and so on, right? And what is common cathode type of connection? So if the cathodes are common, so that means these are your LEDs. LEDs basically diodes. Okay, so there are 8 diodes. So if you connect all the cathodes of the diode, that kind of configuration is called as common cathode configuration, right? Now you have to note some of the points, like you want to glow the LED, then to glow the LED you need to pass to glow the LED. So suppose you want to glow a line, okay, suppose you want to glow a line of let's suppose A or B, so at least you need to pass a current of 5 to 10 milliampere, right? So this is the current which need to be passed through that line. Okay, so we have to limit that current between this range, right? So to limit the current, there is a current resistance which is used, right, which will limit the current. So how will you basically limit the current? Let's suppose this is a diode which can be of any of the line A to Z, A to E. So you have to connect a current limiting resistance across the diode, and you can use this in any kind of configuration. So one will be connected to the ground and another will be connected to the plus 5 volt, right? So this is the current limiting resistance, right? So and there is a drop when the diode is conducting. There is a drop across this diode that is approximately 1.2 volt, right? So I can calculate the value of resistance. So that is nothing but 5 volt minus 1.2 upon 5 milliampere current I want to pass. So that I can calculate the value of this resistance, right? So generally what we do, I can basically let's suppose I am assuming this is your LED, and these are your all lines, right? A to G, and there is a dot here. So what I will do, I will connect a common resistance R, and I am assuming that all the lines are, let's suppose, glowing. So if you multiply 8 by 5, so what I want actually, at least 40 milliampere current should be passed to this LED, right? And this is connected to your plus 5 volts, so I can calculate the value of resistance, right? Now let's suppose if I want to interface it, right? So let's suppose I am interfacing with Arduino, so I can use any one kind of configuration. So let's assume I am taking the common NO type of interfacing, right? So what I have to do, so let's suppose I want to display a 0. Okay, so how will I am able to display? So A to E all will be glowing, and except G, right? So if you see, I want to glow 0 on the LED, so I have to keep all these on except G. So in that case, how will I write a code? So I have to keep A equals to B equals to C equals to D equals to E equals to F. All these should be connected to ground. Okay, all these should be connected to ground, and G will be connected to VCC. Okay, is that clear to all of you? Suppose you want to display 5. So how can I able to display 5? So 5 means I have to glow this A. This is your so how will I display 5? So I have to glow A, F, G, C and D. So your E and B will not be glowing, right? So so what will I do? So all are connected to ground except, sorry, I am writing here, so except B and E all will be connected to ground, right? And if you are using common cathode configuration, this will be completely opposite. Is that clear to all of you? Right? So this is how we can interface basically the LED. Now next kind of sensor we will take as so this LED you can use as actuation, right? Because we want to display something, so it's a kind of output, so it can be considered an actuator, but it is actually a sensor, right? So another type of sensor we can take, that is LCD, that is a liquid crystal display. Liquid crystal display. So actually what is a liquid crystal display? So in the LED we can only display 0 to 9 and hexadecimal number. We cannot running character we cannot basically write it on that LED, right? And LCD is used in numerous applications, right? And one of the major advantage of LCD is it is actually consuming very low power. Okay, so very low power consumption as compared to a very low power consumption. It is in order of microampere as compared to in LED. So LED we will be we have seen that it needs actually around 40 milliampere. So current is the range of 40 milliampere. However, the LCD needs only in microamperes. Okay, so it's a very low power consumption device. Now if you see the LCD units are very thin. If you see the form factor is quite less. It is very thin. Okay, and it is composed of many layers. So if I maximize the LCD, it contains a lot of layers. Okay, so here it is a liquid crystal layer, and there is a LED kind of arrangement here. So LED kind of arrangement, this is nothing but some electrodes. Okay, this is some electrodes, and these LED LCD, basically this liquid crystal layer is sandwiched between two glasses, right? And we are projecting a light through a mirror, right? So mirror will be reflecting that light, and whatever the reflection is there, that will be that can be seen on the display here, right? So it is a very sophisticated arrangement, and outside when you buy the LCD, you will just see a single package. So if you see the internal structure of this LCD, it contains a lot of layers, right? So how does it work actually? Okay, so what happens here, the light is polarized. Okay, so this liquid based on the input or some voltage we are applying here. So how does it work? Basically these are polarized panels, so light is polarized. So some part of the light it blocks and some part of light it allows. Okay, so based on the input. So there are two polarized panel here. If you see, there are two polarized panel with a liquid crystal solution in between. Okay, so light is projected through these layers. Okay, and these are colorized. So they're kind of black and white LCD as color LCD. So in the color LCD, that is colorized, and we will get some image. Okay, whatever electrodes are on, we will get an image. Okay, based on the polarized film. So these are the polarized films. If you see now, when the current is applied in the electrode, what will happen? This will generate this will generate a polarized light. Okay, which will result in a change of angle of light. Okay, and these polarized layers are responsible for either blocking or to pass these lights. And there is a reflecting mirror. Okay, so there is a mirror, you can see, this is your mirror, which will reflect the light. Okay, and there is a electrode plane. So if you see, there is a electrode plane which basically used to allow the current to flow in a selected area. Okay, and the entire arrangement is placed in a package. Okay, so we will take an example of a LCD. So I'll take an example of LCD which is a JHD 162A LCD, right? So it is basically a 2x16 LCD in which we can write 2 lines and 16 characters. Okay, so there are 16 pins you can see here, and 16 characters we can write. Okay, we can write 16 characters, and it is in 2 rows, right? So we can use this LCD in either 4-bit mode or 8-bit mode. So there are 16 pins here, where 8 pins are the data pins, and 8 pins are your 8 pins are only data pin. So what is happening? Suppose if you want to connect through 8-bit interfacing, so we need to connect 8 wires. Okay, so we have given the flexibility that we can connect only even 4 wires also. Okay, so if you are connecting or interfacing in a 4-bit mode, the data are sent in basically are sent in 4-bit. 4-bit means we can write a nibble, right? 4-bit is called as nibbles, and we have to send 2 times, right? So we are not sending a byte, so we have to send 2 times, and since we are sending in 4 bits, so it is taking from D3 to D0, right? And we have D7 to D4. So if you are sending in 4-bit, we have to connect higher lines, higher data lines, right? So the data are sent through D7 to D4. So if I show the pin configuration also, so this is the pin configuration of this LCD. So V ground is already, VCC is just to supply the LCD power to the LCD, and V is basically to control the contrast, right? So what you can do, basically you can connect basically a potentiometer in which one side is your plus 5 volt, another side is ground, and there is a knob which you can vary. So you can vary the contrast basically through VE. RS is the resistor select, like which lines you want to select. Okay, either or there is a read and write operation, so that you can you can write on LCD, or you can check the status of LCD through read and write pin. Enable means if it is 1, the LCD will work, otherwise it will not work, and these are their data lines. Okay, and these are two LED plus and LED minus, so that is for the brightness. So you can control the brightness if it is connected in anode mode, then you have to you have to connect in a 1 to plus 5 volt, and this to ground. Okay, so using these two pins you can control the brightness of your LED. So when you are using this LCD or LED, okay, any sensor you are using, so you have to include the library in the Arduino. Okay, so there is explicitly library for LCD. So there are different libraries in different microcontrollers, so you might be finding some kind of library such as text lcd.h. okay, so such kind of libraries you have to use, right? So if your characters are more than 16, then automatically it will scroll. Okay, if the characters are less than 16, you can manually also scroll it, and for that also there are some library files which you need to include in the Arduino program. So that is lcd scroll.h. Okay, so this is how you can write you can use these sensors in your Arduino program. Other things also you can control using the library, such as speed, okay, and how much speed you want to scroll the characters and so on. So next type of sensors we will be talking about as speaker. So what is a speaker? A speaker is a kind of arrangement in which we can get the sound as output, right? So it is basically an electroacoustic transducer. Okay, we call it as electroacoustic transducer. So electroacoustic transducer means you are whatever the electrical form is there, right, and it is converting to a sound. Is that clear to you? So we are giving some electrical signal and it is converting into a sound, and it contains basically two main parts. One is a permanent magnet, and a movable electromagnet. So what is actually electromagnet? Electromagnet is a magnet. It's a kind of a ferromagnetic material. If you place a coil across it, and if you pass the electrical current in that coil, that material will become as a magnet, right? So how does it work? So if you see the internal structure of the speaker, it looks like this. So this is your back side is your permanent magnet. In middle, if you see, this is your movable electromagnetic material, right? And there is a coil which can which is placed around this movable magnet, and if you pass the current through this coil, this movable magnet starts to move. Okay, and there is a diaphragm which is attached to it, right? So it will actually diaphragm will move at a certain vibration, with a certain vibration, and if those vibrations are in the frequency range of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, we will be able to hear that sound, right? So this is how the speaker is working, right? And in good speakers you can find an amplifier and noise removal circuit also, so that will increase the quality of that speaker, right? So this is how this is working, right? Now Next sensor we will talk about as LM35. Okay, so what is an LM35 sensor? So LM35 is your temperature sensor. It is your temperature sensor, and it is a very good sensor. It's a high quality temperature sensor, and it uses a very precise integrated circuit. So if you draw the structure of this or how it looks like, so if I draw, it has basically 3 pins. Okay, 1, 2 and 3. So one will be basically connected to a supply voltage that could be in the range of 4 to 20 volt, and 3 is your connected to ground, and 2 will be the pin which will be giving you output. Okay, output in terms of analog voltage value. So it gives the analog output which is which is proportional to your temperature, and it is a very sophisticated device which has done all the calibration inside, so you don't need external calibration, right? And it gives an accuracy of your 0.25 degree Celsius. So this is the error actually. So it could be able to detect with an accuracy of plus minus 225 degrees centigrade temperature, right? And it works in the temperature range of minus 55 degrees Celsius to 150 degrees Celsius. So it works as a large range of temperature, right? And it is the most frequently used temperature sensor, and it is also a very low power sensor. Okay, so it draws current in microamperes, so it draws very small current. If you see the internal structure of this LM35, I am not going into details, but overall it contains some transistors, some amplifiers, okay, and there is a current source. So if you see this transistors, one transistor is 10 times an emitter of as compared to other transistor, and this R1 measures the absolute temperature. Okay, it measures the absolute temperature, and this Q2 basically converts that in a voltage form, analog output voltage form. So if I see that your temperature is proportional to your analog output, right? So what is the proportionality constant? So if there is a change in 1 degree centigrade temperature, you will find it out there is a change in 10 millivolt in the analog output, right? So this is the proportionality proportional factor, and you can find out two kinds of temperature sensors. Either one measures the temperature in respect to in terms of centigrade, or you can find it in terms of Fahrenheit, right? So there are different little bit changes in the internal circuitry of those sensors. So if you want to interface it with Arduino, a very simple interfacing is there. One you connect to 5 volt, another you connect to ground, and middle one you can connect to analog input, since we are taking the analog